let's start off. Ooh, 107 degrees. Oh, and dust in the air because everything's so dry. Oh, so super late today with. I've been trying to be very consistent with when I do my weekly injection. The only thing that I'm being consistent with is actually like the day. There's not, when it comes to the time is always kind of different, and I wish that was not the case, but unfortunately, like, that is the case. Just because, man, I did not sleep very well last night because I had a lot of stuff going on. Was replacing some parts on the 3D printer, so things weren't lining up. Blah 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 blah. I'm sure that's not too exciting for a lot of people, but needless to say, I ended up. This is the worst place to get out at because I can't see based on the angle if there's anyone coming. So I'm going to take that as a no. So yeah. Needless to say, I did not get to bed until like 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning. Which is not good. And I should have probably administered then. But it was hot. I was tired. Didn't feel like doing it. So instead, I did it at about 2:30 this evening, or this afternoon. So whenever I went to do the injection, since I'm doing only 25, which is like really, really like it's very, very small amount. That's 50 milligrams because it's 200. So instead of doing once every 2 weeks, we're breaking it down so that it's so that it's 50 1 week and then 50 the next week. Suddenly confused myself. No, yeah, it's 50 1 week and 50 the next. So now that I'm on that, this is only the second week doing it. Well, this week, for whatever reason, there's absolutely no one behind me, and you pull out like that. So as I go to inject, everything's good, feels fine, and then whenever I pulled the needle out, there was quite a bit of blood. I'd say quite a bit. It was probably less than, well, probably a little bit more than what I usually, more than just a spot, we'll say that. And I know it's just because I hit a vein, a little tiny little vein. However, the only thing that I don't know is whether or not man, you pulled out in front of me and went slow, and then we're moving through a school zone, and you speed through it. Like, I don't understand people. So I went to pull it out. A little bit more blood than usual. And my big question is, I'm hoping that it actually got to where it needs to go, because I felt as though it's generally in the same spot. It felt as though it was in the muscle, but it's like it was not, like, it felt like a little knot underneath the surface, which almost makes me think that it didn't get into the muscle and it all got expelled. I don't know. All I know is that it bled a little bit more than usual. A lot of it more than usual. And I don't really have the muscle soreness that I usually do, the tiny little bit of muscle soreness. So I'm actually thinking that it didn't get to where it needed to get. I don't know. Could be wrong. Could be totally wrong. So we'll see. But that's the first time that that's ever happened. And it was a little bit higher than where I usually go, but it's hard for me to really know where I usually go, because I haven't been doing this for years. I mean, I've just been doing this for 2 months now, maybe starting my 3rd month now. So I'm still technically getting the hang of it. I only do it ever so often. Now maybe that I'm doing it once a week, I'll be more accustomed to like what I potentially did wrong. Or I didn't do anything wrong and I just barely hit a little blood vessel. So I guess we'll know if I start road raging somewhere throughout the day. No, I don't know. I don't think there's any. I don't really know what the drawback would be if it actually got injected into a vein, and I really don't think it was in a large vein. I think it just nicked a vein, and that's what happened. So, not overly concerned with it, just wanted to sort of make a little video to say that, well, apparently you can be as careful as possible and you're still going to have little issues. That's probably the most blood I've seen from an injection so far. I'll just keep note. I know that some people say that you're supposed to draw in a little bit of, pull back a little on the plunger to see if you did hit a vein, and some people say that it's unnecessary. Maybe I'll do that next time to make sure that I haven't hit a vein, but I don't know. This week's been pretty, I haven't noticed a major dip. I've been probably consistent with my energy levels. They haven't been the greatest, but at the same time, they've been consistent. Coming up a while from now, my next test will include testing my estrogen levels. as well as a few other things just to see how my body is responding overall. Like, since we know, well, we know where my levels are at from the last lab works that were done. So this time, whenever they check them, it'll be, you know, it will have had a long time in my system, and we start checking the estrogen levels. I'm interested to see where my cholesterol, because that had already dropped, and I'm doing the same thing. I haven't really changed too much. My diet hasn't changed, so there was no reason for my cholesterol levels to fluctuate as they did, but reverse direction, so they're all going down, so that's cool. Again, have a longer stint between lab tests, so we'll be able to see exactly what's being affected, how it's being affected, which is cool. I like it. I like that he's doing getting labs done so that we can make sure that everything's in order. Hopefully 50 a week is gonna keep me at a good place. You know, I know the typical dosage is 100 a week. Maybe that's where we're gonna have to rely, like, because it's funny, like every time I think, I'm like, man, starting out every other week, it seems like I'm gonna crash from that. And sure enough, I end up crashing by the second week, and I'm just like waiting for Wednesday to pop up so that I can inject and start feeling good again. And then now it's like, okay, cool, I'm level, I'm at a decent, like, I could feel better, but I also could feel a whole lot worse at 50 a week. And again, this is only my second week doing it. So maybe it has to go for longer to see if 50 is good. And we discussed last time when I was speaking with my doctor, you know, he wasn't too concerned with where my levels were at. Like, it's important to know the numbers, but he also wanted to know where my symptoms were at. So that's why, like, when you're getting all this done, make sure that you're tracking and keeping up with, like, how are you sleeping? What are your energy levels? Like, keep track of how all of that is throughout the week, because that's almost more important than what your numbers are. Your numbers are going to play a big role, but it all works together. And if you're still symptomatic at, you know, say 600 or 700, that means that your body obviously needs a little bit more than what you're getting. That's just my understanding on the whole thing. To say 700, I don't know what level, but the symptoms are what's most important. So just make sure to keep track of it and make sure that you are, as well as keeping track of that, make sure you're keeping a copy of your labs as well. Like, it's super duper 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 important that you're paying attention to the numbers as well, because in the event that you, like, you need to know how your body's responding to the medication. Like, once you start understanding how your body responds I don't know. Like, some people are so passive when it comes to any type of treatment that, like, yes, you should believe your doctor. You should have that kind of a trust. But when you know that something's off, it's better to be like, hey, I know that you said I should be experiencing this, or this is what should be happening, and it's not. Like, don't give it more time. You have to be proactive and discuss these things with them. Scam callers. I can't answer that right now. So, next Monday, I'll be going to get my evisceration surgery. And what that is they're going to... I've got to get my eye removed. Basically, due to glaucoma complications. I've had glaucoma my entire life. Congenital, so born with it. Had it at a very, 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 very young age. At a very young age, I was diagnosed with it. So things have never been good with my left eye. Basically, it's got to the point where, I mean, I can't see anything out of it. It started to white over, and now basically not really white over, it's more blue, but I have these tiny little blisters that are painful, and I don't have a protective. Basically it's painful. Every time I blink, it feels like I have something in my eye. Like if you've got an eyelash in your eye, or an eyelash and a couple of pieces of sand at the same time. That's kind of what it feels like all the time. Not really all the time, only when I blink. So it's a bit obnoxious, and I have to do eye drops in the eye I can't see out of, which, you know, they're not. My argument for this is that, sure, they're not toxic, but I've been taking some of these eye drops for years, and I've been slowly administering these medications to my body, which, you know, they know the side effects and they know the things that they could potentially cause. Well, if they're going to cause it in someone, probably going to be me, because I've been taking them for, I mean, some of these, I was actually taking one medication so long, they used to not have long eyelashes. They used to be kind of short. And now I have these really long, ridiculously long eyelashes. Like if I wore mascara, the one mascara, yeah, I would, it would, yeah, it would look even more ridiculous. They would look 100% fake. So that's neat, but it's just one of the side effects, and a lot of them are not. I mean, my body's constantly processing these tiny little bits of medication, so I don't really know what that's done to my liver. I don't know what that's done to my kidneys. It's always something that they said you should look out for, because, I mean, taking these things twice a day, so it'll be nice to not be on that medication, because now it's just a hassle, because it doesn't even, it would be like, I don't know, like wearing a Band-Aid. You're putting a Band-Aid over something and you're still, like, it's not helping heal the wound. Like, it's pointless. It's just 10 minutes out of the day that I have to stop and do these eye drops, which is not a big deal, but it's like, it's a nuisance and it doesn't do anything. I mean, obviously it's keeping the pressure lower, but it's not doing anything for the pain. Like, there's nothing they can do aside from remove the eye or deaden the muscles around it, and I don't know how I feel about that. So that's happening on Monday. That's going to be a new thing. I'll be wearing a patch. Well, I'll be wearing a patch for a while, until I get my prosthesis. Because, I mean, one week I'll have to absolutely keep it all covered until I go back for them to check it, make sure that everything is good. Yeah, y'all all got first priority, huh? Gotta get off of here. Traffic's heavy and everyone wants to be fucking NASCAR drivers, what they want to be. I don't get it.